You don't know what's out there.
That's why I would go.
Hi, and welcome back to Wild Dream, where we give you the freshest takes on the latest movies. My name is David.
And my name is Daniel.
And we are back. We're so back, dude. How many times are we going to be back?
I say at least 6 more times this year.
6, 7, 8 more times this year.
Yeah, about 6, 7 times, whatever.
Could you see it like 10 times?
No, that seems too high.
11 times.
Then definitely not. I just said it was too high.
12 times?
I can see 12.
Okay, I'm getting
All right.
back around.
I'm back around. Yeah, we're back, and we're very sick.
Yeah. So we were off of streaming and off of podding, partially due to my illness and partially due to Daniel's birthday.
Yeah, I'm old now. Now I'm old. I'm old now.
He's old now.
I'm old now. I've never been old.
You're a young, spry spring chicken. But anyways, guys, we are so back. We are very excited to come to you guys with a late review of a movie that a lot of you guys have already seen. We've already heard from some of our listeners reaching out to us telling us, oh yeah, I already saw that movie. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I can't wait for you. So it's a pretty rare thing for us. You know, we don't normally do movies where we haven't seen the movie, you know, before you guys have seen it.
Yeah, very different situation here. But alas, due to travel and sickness and so on and so forth, we're a week late. We've had episodes like this before, but yeah, it's really rare.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys are able to listen all the way through, even through the spoilers, for anyone who only listens to the spoiler-free sections, usually.
But now, you know, we usually close out the episode by saying if you want to get involved in the conversation, let us know what you thought of the episode, let us know what you thought of this movie. You actually can.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe actually get involved in the conversation.
Yeah. We went to go see one of the biggest movies of the year so far in
Project Hail Mary.
This is a very heavily promoted movie.
Sure is.
We've been seeing posters for this movie for like 2 years, I feel like. It's crazy how long the posters have been out and the trailers have been out, and obviously this is based off of a very popular best-selling book. And I know that this year we've been doing some half movie, half book reviews.
Yeah.
This time we're not doing that. And the reason why is I was told by people who read the book that if you like the book, you won't like this movie no matter what. There's nothing that can do that will make me like the movie. And I was like, I don't want to be one of those people.
Yeah.
And I love Ryan Gosling.
Me too.
I love Ryan Gosling. We didn't go see the Barbie movie. Famously, we did Oppenheimer. So, famously. That's a funny word to use for this podcast. Anyways, we love Ryan Gosling on this podcast. You know, Blue Valentine, one of our favorite movies over here. Obviously, Drive, Place Beyond the Pines. We talk about Crazy Stupid Love too much on this podcast. So, yeah, we like Gosling. And so I was excited to see him in something again. You know, he hasn't done a movie since Barbie. We didn't see Barbie, so it's been a long time for us. And I didn't want to influence my feelings on this movie by reading this book. I think this book was just too popular. It's a little bit different, right? Because when we went to go see, How to Make a Killing, it's like, well, this is based off of a movie, which was based off of a book, which is like, from like 100 years ago. And when we saw Wuthering Heights, it's like, yeah, this is loosely based off of a reimagining of a section of a book from over 100 years ago. That's like a classic English novel. This one's a little bit different. This is a modern novel and very famously an adaptation because this book was so popular, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I was even in a Barnes & Noble recently, and I heard like 4 or 5 different people coming up to the staff asking where Project Hail Mary was, and the staff had to keep telling them it's at the front.
It's on the Project Hail Mary display.
Yeah. It's like, they're like looking for it in the sci-fi section, and it's like, yeah, no, we moved all of our copies to the front of the store because we knew people were coming in for this book. So, yeah, I didn't want to be influenced in any way. And I will say, I did purchase the book. I am going to read it. But I wanted to read it after watching the movie. I just wanted to give an honest take on the movie, especially because I think this is one where a lot of our listeners are not going to have read the book. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for a book, review or book topics, I don't want any spoilers for the book. So I don't want any like, well, in the book they did this, in the book they did this. So we're not even going to be reading that stuff on the pod today. Mm-hmm. This is just Project Hail Mary, the movie, the review.
Yeah.
Project the Hail Mary, the book, the movie, the review.
The project of Hail the Project of Mary.
I just want to say,
I love going to the cinema. I fucking love the pictures.
And because of that, this was one that I was excited to go see because I was like, you know what? Let's go see a movie that is just going to be a fun, kind of lighthearted, longer movie that's going to be a really good going to the movies movie. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what to call it because I wouldn't call it a blockbuster. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't call it like action slop, whatever. It's not like Transformers, but it's also not like, it's not Hoppers. It's not, oh, this is for kids, whatever. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. And
I feel that.
So this is just a really good movie for going to the movies and having a good time. And because of that, it's going to influence my score a little bit because I quite enjoyed this movie. But I also think I quite enjoyed the experience of going to the movie, because we're addicts, bro. We go to the movies so often. And when we don't go to the movies, we're like, oh, man, anybody got any of that popcorn? It's like,
yeah.
And so we will miss the movies if we go a week without seeing a movie. We'll miss the theater and we'll miss the experience. So, I've been sick, so I haven't been able to go anywhere. So
right.
It was a really fun experience going to go see this movie. I think it was a really good time. And as far as the movie goes, I don't think that there's anything in this movie that is offensively bad in any way. I don't think that there's anything in this movie that is like, unexpected or something that I was like, took me out of it, that took me out of the experience. And there are moments in the movie that I thought were really, really good, like really intelligent filmmaking, really emotional, really good acting, really, like all these elements of the movie that were actually really elevated. And then the rest of this 2 hour and 30-minute movie was just kind of there. And so like, it's there's no point in the movie that's just like straight up bad. You know what I'm saying? And there are some moments that are really good, but this movie, if we're coming in with negative comments first, which I think is fair, it's too fucking long.
I agree with that. It is definitely too long. I really felt it. I felt the length for sure. And then I think the reason that it feels so long is because of some third act problems and what they choose to do narratively. It really rubbed me the wrong way. It's probably one of my biggest complaints of the whole movie was them rinse, cycle, repeat, whatever that term is, to the point of exhaustion. And so they really, really fumbled the third act, in my opinion. And it made the movie feel longer, which it's already long enough. So that was a big detractor for me for sure. But I think that this is one of the most theater movies ever. Like it really was. There's some, you expect this with any kind of sci-fi novel that actually takes place in space, especially where you do get these awesome visual moments, especially tied with, I really like the score of this movie too. So all the music and visuals coming together in these really big scenes do much more than any dialogue could do. And right. So you get to experience the same kind of awe and wonder as our characters do. So I really liked some of those sequences that were and the way that the movie plays with silence is really cool too. Just going full noise canceling silence is really, really cool the way that they do it because again, it is in space. So pretty smartly done, I think. And I have to give props to Gosling he has to carry this movie.
Yeah.
And he fucking does. And he does a great job. He has so many different elements of his character. He's not just funny and kind of loserish and scared and mousy, but he's also very emotional. He is very confident when he needs to be. He's very smart. He has a lot of multitudes in this movie, and he shows all of them very well. And he's in my opinion, just such a likable character.
Yeah.
And he did fantastic. I thought he was great.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen Half Nelson, But it's funny because I believe Ryan Gosling a lot more as a school teacher than I do as a world-renowned scientist. But at the same time, I think you're right. I think that he has to be something in terms of entertainment for the majority of the movie, as far as the story that we're being given. And I think that he does deliver. I mean, are we biased? Yes, but our opinions always come from an actual belief in somebody's talents, and it's like it's the same thing like with Yorgos. It's like, oh, do we like these movies just because it's Yorgos? It's like, well, I didn't love The Favorite, and you haven't even seen it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we'll be honest about how we feel about a person that we like if they do something good or bad. And I think this is an example of him doing something really well. And I think that my only complaint is I came out of the theater and I said, are we starting to get to that point with Ryan Gosling where he's just inserting his own personality into his characters so much that he's becoming like Ryan Reynolds? Where it's like, oh yeah, Deadpool's just Ryan Reynolds just being himself, or whatever. And then when the more we talked about it, it was like, oh well, this kind of is just how like actors are in general. I was like, yeah, this isn't the first time Ryan Gosling has done this. It's not the first performance he's had where you can see his own personality in the performance quite a bit. And it's also not uncommon for other actors to do this, regularly. Now, obviously, we've come a long way with space and sci-fi movies, and I think that when we talk about space and sci-fi movies, Interstellar always comes to mind as like the golden child of, movies that take place in space. And, I say that to say, like, we've been doing this type of movie since, I don't even know, 2001 Space Odyssey. Is that like one of the first movies where we're following an astronaut quite a bit? But with that said, I still think that they added a lot of elements to this movie that still made it very new and refreshing in terms of doing a movie about space.
I think so too. It balances very well the actual science part of it with non-science, just drama, and obviously like parts of comedy and stuff. But there's this dramatic element of this situation being brought to light of what would happen if type of thing.
Right.
And they do the way that this movie is structured too is there is multiple flashbacks to the past of what was happening on Earth.
Yeah.
So it helps itself from feeling a little like claustrophobic or redundant in its setting by giving you those scenes. So I think that helps too. It helps the scope of the movie get larger and feel a little less redundant, I guess. Like just it doesn't feel as stale as being stuck in this one little setting.
Yeah, and I think that, one of the things I've heard the most about the book, and again, I know we said we weren't going to talk about the book, but this is just one of the things I heard was that the book is very, very sciencey, and it can be difficult to follow at times if you're not really into science and you're not in that world, And I like that this movie was not like that. This is not a movie where you're going to feel dumb because you don't understand what's going on. Like everything. Mm-hmm. I think that they focused on the right elements of a story that can be told where we can all understand it, understand the stakes, and understand what's happening to allow us to be engaged with the movie, in its entirety. So while there are moments where they, talk about certain things I don't fully understand, yeah, that's fine, but they explain everything in a very clear and concise way, and also in a way where I don't start getting bored with the science part of it. Like, that's the scariest part. It's like, oh, if you keep droning on and on and on about the science part, it's like, hey, man, I don't care. It's like the same thing with like Interstellar. Like, a lot of that movie has to deal with relativity. And I'm like, I don't understand that shit at all. But they're just like, hey, man, it's been 20 seconds. That was 11 years or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, got it. Whatever it is that you say. Like, that's just how, I think that it should be done because film is, I want the focus to be on the narrative. And I also think that they did a lot of things visually that were very cool and interesting. The way that they showed, this different planet, and the way that they showed, these particles that they're, primarily focusing on, and the way that they showed, this other character, Rocky, throughout the movie, like everything that he does and the way he's designed and his ship and everything, I thought was very interesting and cool and creative, and definitely not something that I've ever seen or thought of before.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. And I think that the movie does enough it kind of necessarily does the, wait, let me get this straight. So you want us to, and then they do the plan.
In English, please.
Yeah, they do a lot of that, and I think it is a little necessary just so it can simplify it for the audience to really understand what's going on, what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first ways that they kind of introduced the movie is in the setting of a classroom for middle school children. So I'm not like, that's the other thing too. I'm not like, why are those people asking questions? It's like, yeah, because they're in a school. So it's like sometimes when it comes to dialogue-based exposition, I think that motivated exposition is fine. Like, I think that's what it comes down to for us. I think when we're like, you have somebody come in and they go, what's up, big sis? Wait, you're still doing that after mom and dad died 4 years ago? It's like, okay, that's not motivated. There's no context to the setting or to the story in which someone wants to ask that question or wants to reveal that information. And this movie, I think that a lot of their exposition, even though you're right, they do kind of do some of that, it is motivated. Even when, Ryan Gosling's character is explaining things to his like partner, is a person from the government assigned to, help him with his side of the project, where when they're doing that, it's like, yeah, I mean, this is the only other guy who can help him, and he's not a scientist. So there's a motivation for him to explain things to him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is better. It's not perfect, but it's better.
Yeah, I agree. I think they do this really well too with actual character backstory type exposition, because when you're isolated and it's just you and this one other person, you will start to kind of talk about, oh yeah, I had a girlfriend once. It's not as out of nowhere and here's my backstory. It's actually just isolation and trying to get to know each other better and all that stuff. So I think they did really well with that. Again, I do feel like it's necessary to dumb down some of the science so that we can understand what's going on. Because a lot of these scenes too, where it is happening and it's in motion now, I'm like, okay, thank goodness they dumbed that down for me, so I know exactly why this is supposed to be dramatic. So I think they do a good job. It did not feel too over my head. I've seen movies that are way too over my head with stuff like that, and they are kind of worse off for it. So yeah, they do a really great balance of dumbing it down just enough for the audience. And here's one of my complaints. One of my biggest crushes of all time is in this movie, and she's barely in it. And
she's barely in it and fully clothed. And I mean fully. I'm talking triple layer fully clothed.
But
bullshit.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see her in this, but
it was, yeah.
This was a good movie. I liked it.
I think that final spoiler-free talks. It's like, the cinematography is pretty cool. There's a lot of cool visuals. Mm-hmm. The music is really good. The acting is really good for the most part, and it's a fun movie. I think that if you go to see this movie, you're not going to regret it. You're going to have a good time. I think the only thing that's going to stop me from watching this movie again is the runtime.
Right.
Personally.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let me sit down and watch a 2 hour and 30-minute movie for fun.
Right. About science.
About science. There is elements of the movie that are like kind of spoiler heavy, you know what I'm saying? To where the rewatchability is reduced when you know what happens. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. So, yeah. But if you're asking me, do you recommend this movie? 100%. Yeah. I think that most people are going to enjoy this movie.
I agree. I think this is a very widely appealing movie across the board.
So let's go ahead and get into spoiler talk so we can really delve into the movie. Beep bloop bleep bleep.
The fuel injectors are on a 4, 6, 7 axis. We need to get them rotated so that we can get the correct coordinates.
Everyone else on board has died.
Jesus Christ. Ship. Disable spoilers, please.
Spoilers disabled. Spoiler alert. All right, let's get into spoiler talk here. Let's start off with a little thing I like to call the rundown.
The rundown. What is that from?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
One of the best theme songs of all time, by the way.
Pretty insane. This is such a tacky song, but it kind of works.
It works.
Really interesting.
It
Anyways.
really works.
Yeah, it's time for the rundown. Get into it, Dave.
All right. So I'm going to tell you guys the story of Project Hail Mary in a chronological order of the story.
There we go. Oh, we didn't even mention in spoiler-free talk, but we showed up to this movie late.
Oh, yeah. We showed up to this movie late. We were actually late. Not like, okay, so here's the thing. We know the movie starts 30 minutes after. We showed up like 33 minutes after. Because we know.
Which is funny is I checked my phone and we were 25 minutes late. And they say they say in the app, the movie will not start until 25 to 30 minutes after the showtime.
But we always assume for bigger movies, it's going to be closer to that 30 minutes. Because the more people in the theater, the more ads they're going to want to show.
And
but I guess the fuck not.
I guess there was only 20 minutes of trailers. It was kind of crazy. I was like, man, we got duped. But yeah, we were.
Yeah, I don't know if we missed like 2 minutes of the movie or 2 seconds of the movie.
Honestly,
we have no idea.
We have no idea. We walked in and we saw Ryan Gosling looking like Jesus.
Yeah. So that's where we started the movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if we missed some really important opening title card or some bullshit.
Who knows?
Okay. But I'm going to tell you. So just so you guys know, the movie is not chronological. The movie starts with, someone in space, and then they show flashbacks of what happened leading to him being in space, and then also what he's doing in space. They keep going back and forth. But I'm going to tell you guys in chronological order.
Here we go. Chronological order.
So Ryan Gosling is playing this scientist who is working at a school because he had a really important theory that there could be life on other planets that didn't involve water. So he was like, I think that water could not exist on another planet and life to still exist. And everyone else is like, no, carbon-based life form is the only type of life form that there is. You're a fucking idiot. So he gets stuck being a middle school teacher, but he's really enjoying his job. And he's explaining to his students that there is this thing called the Petrova line that is coming from the sun to Venus. And it's I don't know. Listen, I'm just going to tell you what I know.
Look, the gleboglorps emit some kind of bahoogaluga acid.
It's always Fuji's and Funyuns.
Okay, we get to use our Fuji's and Funyuns drop. So yeah, listen, I'm going to explain it the way I understand it. These particles are taking energy from the sun and they're heading towards Venus, skipping past Mercury, and they are removing that energy from the sun. So they are killing the sun. The sun is dying. So they're like, yeah, in the next 30 years, the sun's going to be completely dead, and like all of life on Earth is going to be extinct.
Yeah.
And actually in that scene where he's explaining that to his students, he has one of my favorite lines of the movie where he goes, yeah, I mean, who knows, maybe in like 30 years, and someone's like, oh, so no big whoop. And he goes, well, it's a medium whoop. It's a small to medium whoop. I was like, I'm going to use that. I'm stealing that. It's like, it reminds me of I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
Yeah.
That's from The Office. For any noobs out there, for any plebs out there, that's from The Office. So yeah, he gets approached by a scientist who's working with the, world's governments in order to study this even further and come up with a plan to help the sun not die. And she's like, I read your former studies. He's like, well, my studies were bullshit. She's like, they may not have been bullshit. Are you willing to come and work with us? And he's like, yeah. So she's like, here's what you're going to do. We need you to study these particles and tell us what you know about them and figure out what they are. So he starts to study them and he realizes that they are life. They are cells. And so, he's like, that's good news because we know that there's life. But then the bad news is that his theory was wrong because he determines that they are made of carbon material. So he's like, yes, the life forms do need to be carbon based. So they're like, okay, so what we want you to do is continue to work with us in order to study and understand these particles a lot better and these cells a lot better. And what they learn about them is that they move at a very high rate of speed and they go towards towards they move toward a specific type of light form. They move towards a specific type of I think like CO2 or whatever. I don't remember what they said.
They make their own Venus.
They make their own Venus is what they say, and they learn that these particles move towards that at a very, very high rate. So they realize what they can do is they can take these cells, these particles, and they can turn them into a fuel that would allow them to shoot a rocket into space and go several light years away at a very quick pace. So this is the plan. They're like, okay, we're calling it Project Hail Mary. We're going to put astronauts in a ship. We're going to send them very far away because we've discovered another star somewhere else that seems to also have a Petrova line. So we're going to send you over there and we're going to study it, and we won't be able to bring anybody back from this trip. Everyone who goes on this trip is going to die. Now, here's the part of the podcast where I take a little bit of an aside for you guys to teach you guys, because I know most of y'all won't know this, a little something about our history. Okay, history of this country, history, mine and Daniel's history. Okay, this is in our blood. And I'm going to tell you guys a story about the Dallas Cowboys. So, long time ago, the first Hall of Fame quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, his name was Roger Staubach, a.k.a. Captain America. Now, I know you're wondering, why was his nickname Captain America? Oh, maybe because he's the quarterback of America's team, baby. You better believe it. And once upon a time, Roger Staubach is playing against the Minnesota Vikings. And he has a receiver in his team. He is the first receiver to wear the number 88 across his chest for the Dallas Cowboys, a legendary, high-ranking number that is only assigned to the best of the best receivers for the Dallas Cowboys throughout our history. So we've got Drew Pearson, Michael Irving, Dez Bryant, and right now, C.D. Lamb, 88. It matters 88. In D-Town, okay? Drew Pearson, Captain America, Super Bowl winning Hall of Fame quarterback, he drops back and there's 0 seconds left on the clock and he needs a touchdown to win this game. And he's only about 40 yards away. So what does he do? He sends all of his receivers just running towards the end zone. He says, everybody go run out. So everybody on his team runs towards the end zone and everybody from the other team also runs towards the end zone to try and cover everybody else on the Cowboys. And he drops back, he waits, and boom, he launches it. Into the hands of none other than Mr. 88 himself, Drew Pearson, catches the ball, scores the touchdown, Cowboys win. And after the game, they go, Roger, what was going through your head when you were making that throw? And you know what he says? I was just saying a Hail Mary. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the birth of the football play, the Hail Mary. It is when you need one play left to win the game, you launch the ball into the air as far as you can, and you pray that a person from your team catches the ball and comes down with the touchdown. And there's a very low chance of it. It's very rare. Many players have done it over the years, and some players have done it even better than Roger Staubach, but that started with your Dallas Cowboys. So every country in the world comes together and agrees on naming this project after an American football play. And I think that that's kind of funny.
That is kind of funny. What's interesting, too, is that when I think of the most recent, most famous, iconic Hail Mary, I think of Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
And Kyler Murray is from Allen, Texas.
That's right.
Come on, baby.
And guess what they called that play in history? The Hail Murray.
The Hail Murray.
It's a very exciting play in football. I mean, it is, usually it doesn't turn out well. But when it does, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
But in the context of this movie, it's a long shot. It is last-ditch effort, 0 time on the clock, and something extremely difficult, and you are literally just praying that it works. Mm-hmm. This is the project. They're going to go out into space. Now, here's what happens. Some kind of error occurs that ends up in one of the facilities that they're working at exploding. And so a couple of the people who were expected to go on this mission end up dying. So they tell Ryan Gosling, who's not planning to go on this mission at all, we now need you on this mission. You're the only scientist who knows how these particles work. You got to go. He's like, no, I just can't do it. I'm not brave like you guys. I'm not cool. I'm not, I'm not an astronaut. I'm not trained. And they're like, well, we don't care what you say. And then they chase him, pin him to the ground, and then stick a fucking needle in his neck and then put him on a spaceship. So fucked up. But whatever. He's not sacrificing himself. And we learned this pretty late in the movie that he did not volunteer for this mission. So we're all kind of like, he really doesn't seem like he's supposed to be here. How does he end up here? Well, then we learn he was being forced to go on this mission against his will. But then we get to the beginning of the movie, which is the scene that me and Dana walked in, where he wakes up on the spaceship and he has lost his memory. He doesn't remember who he is. He doesn't remember where he is or why. So he's starting to learn these things as he goes along. So he realizes, okay, I am in space. I am near another betrothal line, and I need to study what's going on here, because what he does learn is that while there are particles coming from the sun towards this new planet, the sun here is not dying. So he's wondering that what they're wanting to know is, why is this sun not dying, but
ours is?
Yeah, their sun is. So what do we need to do? Well, while he is in space, he ends up coming across another spaceship. Well, this other spaceship has another astronaut on it. This astronaut is from another planet that, by the way, doesn't seem carbon-based. I don't know if they explicitly say that or not, but I think that is what is implied, is that this is not a carbon-based life form. And he ends up meeting him, and this is actually one of the best things about the movie, is that this other character, they call him Rocky because he's just a rock-based life form. And I don't know how long this takes in the book, but I can tell you it felt condensed, because in the movie, they're like, yeah, we learned how to talk to each other. All right.
Yeah. They did great with this.
They're just like, moving on. We learned how to talk to each other. We figured it out. We're done.
Yeah.
So
Rocky emits these sounds. It gets recorded by Ryan Gosling when he's asking him questions, so that he knows what these mean, and he does it a text-to-voice type of program. So that way we can have a character, we can have them talk immediately. I thought that was such smart filmmaking.
They don't explain how Rocky understands him at all.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I don't care a single flying fuck how they're able to communicate, but they can communicate. And that's great. I was like, this is one of the best things they did. They just jumped 100%. Right over that.
And they do enough too of the taking the time beforehand of them trying to use little hand movements and
to show us that it wasn't quite instant.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't instant. Yeah, exactly.
But they also don't dwell on it so long that we're like, oh my God, how long until they can talk to each other?
Yeah.
They just kind of cut to, we can talk to each other now. And it's like, okay, this is great. And so we learn a little bit about Rocky, and what we learn is that Rocky's planet also has a betrothal line. He's also there to learn what is going on with this planet. So as they start to work together to figure this problem out, they also start to become really close friends. And they start to talk to each other about their lives and about their homes and about their goals and their dreams and, all these things, and about, and neither of them, both of them are alone. Both of them, the other people who came on the mission with them are dead. For Ryan Gosling, it was only 2 other people. For Ryan Gosling, it was only 2 other people on the ship. And for Rocky, it was like 23, I think they said, like 23 other life forms that ended up dying. So that is why, both of them are alone. And also neither of them are the person who was supposed to stay alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously we learned that Ryan Gosling kind of is, but he's also the least capable person. He doesn't know how to fly this ship. He doesn't know how to, he's not an astronaut. He doesn't know how to do a spacewalk properly. He's not trained on any of these things. And then Rocky is a mechanic. He's an engineer. He's not a pilot himself. He's not the scientist on his team, whatever. Now, they're both very intelligent and they both figure a lot of stuff out. I'm just saying that, like, it wasn't like, oh, these are the 2 golden people to, whatever. This wasn't the plan. But sometimes when you throw a Hail Mary, the person comes down with it isn't always Mr. 88. That's
true.
It's not always DeAndre Hopkins. But, these 2 people, they figure it out. What they learn is that there seems to be a bacteria that is on this other planet that exists that is killing these particles that are killing the sun. And because this bacteria is killing it, their sun is not dying because the energy is being re-released into the atmosphere and being re-released back to the sun. So the plan is to capture a bunch of this bacteria and send it back to their planets. So they go through this whole mission. and things don't go exactly as planned. There's a lot of drama and action and these really cool sequences that are really boring for me to explain to you on a podcast that's audio only. But just know it's very fun and exciting and very, it's like Interstellar-esque, whatever. They have this whole plan. They go and they capture this bacteria. But when they get back into the ship, things start going bad and Ryan Gosling gets knocked out. And Rocky has been in this bubble that he created because, Earth's atmosphere, like the type of oxygen that we have to breathe that exists on his ship would kill Rocky. But he ends up leaving his bubble, nearly sacrificing himself to save Ryan Gosling. And for a long time, we think Rocky is dead. Mm-hmm. So, he keeps talking to him and we're all getting really sad because he's talking to someone who's seemingly very dead. And we're like, well, they got the bacteria. And he's telling him about how, he forced the bacteria to have to live in different conditions. And so he learned that it dies from nitrogen. But the Earth's atmosphere is like, 70% nitrogen. So they're like, okay, well, fuck, we got to, fix that. And so he's like, finds a way to breed the bacteria in different ways that allows it to be stable on Earth's atmosphere and on the atmosphere for Rocky's planet so that they can use it and breed it and save their planets. And then eventually Rocky wakes up. Thank goodness. So, and one of the things that, Ryan Gosling explained to Rocky was he says, this is a one-way trip for me. I'm supposed to just come here and I'm not supposed to get back home. I don't have enough fuel to get back home. So Rocky says that, I'll give you the fuel so that you can get back home and I will get back home 4 years later than expected. And Ryan Gosling breaks down crying. Obviously, he's like
really good scene,
really, really good scene, really emotional scene, and really just shows where their bond has kind of gone from where it started.
Yeah, and it's really impressive too on Gosling's part to be so emotive and emotional in this scene and still make me laugh.
Yeah,
because Rocky's like, "Why are you crying right now? I thought you said you made peace with the fact that you were going to die." And he's like, "Oh, that's just something people say. I didn't mean any of that. I didn't mean any of that.
Any of that shit.
That's just what people say, man." I just thought it was so funny. Yeah, it was such a real human moment.
Yeah, it's a very heartfelt thing for this final act. Oh, Rocky's going to go back to his planet, and I'm going to go back to mine, and that's it. We're just never going to see each other again. So then Rocky leaves. And then Ryan Gosling, he starts going into sleep and he gets an alert one day. And he wakes up and he realizes that the containers that they created to hold the bacteria had a leak. And if that starts to leak, then other elements start to leak as well. And then there's going to be a carbon leak, which leads to a radiation poisoning, which is what killed all of Rocky's crew. But the difference is that what ends up, notifying him of the leak is something that doesn't exist on Rocky's ship. So because they have different atmospheres or whatever, it's like, that's all I understand is that, so he's like, Rocky's not going to know that there's a leak. So I have to either choose going to save Rocky or going home. So he decides to put all of his research, all of the logs, everything that they have discovered and all of the bacteria that they have collected and bred and all this stuff into some alternate containers, these new containers. And he sends those out on a probe to Earth, and then he goes to go save Rocky. So he goes to save Rocky, and then we see the people on Earth who are working with Ryan Gosling on the mission and how old they are now, and now they're watching these videos that he's been recording throughout the whole movie, which is another good element to have him talk out loud even when he's alone, is that he's talking to the people of Earth while doing these logs. And they're watching these, and you can see in the Earth they're like on an ocean that's just completely ice now. So it's like, oh, the Earth has been cooling rapidly because of this issue.
Yep.
Because it's been about 20 of those 30 years they said they had left. So they go. He goes to save Rocky, and then the ending of the movie is that we show that Ryan Gosling is now living in a giant dome that was created for him on Rocky's planet with Earth's atmosphere that is completely artificial, that has a beach and all this stuff that he was able to see. They had this little VR room set up for him where he can feel like he's back on Earth in the spaceship with these screens and everything. And he's showing Rocky all these things on Earth that he loves. And he's talking about the ocean and, the caves and the cliff sides and stuff like that. So they create a little biodome for him. And the very end is that they show that Ryan Gosling can go back to Earth, but he says, let me think about it. And, Rocky's like, okay, take all the time that you need. And then they show that he is now teaching a class two young rocklings, whatever you want to call them, now on this other planet, you know, and he loved being a teacher on Earth. So, it was a very interesting ending to this movie. I did see some stuff saying that if the movie ended any different than the book did, people would be pissed. So I have no idea how the book ends, and I don't want to know because I'm about to go read it this week, and I'll come back next week and tell everyone how the book ends. Okay, I promise.
There you go.
But it was a very heartfelt ending. So it's part of when we say like this movie is very widely acceptable, I guess, you know, or there's a wide appeal to this movie. That's part of it too, is that, you know, you and I are more nihilist. I think that we, you know, are not like always hoping for a negative ending, but also we're okay with a movie ending poorly and a movie not going well for the main characters. And this is one that's not like that. If you want one where the, you know, it still doesn't, I mean, goes well, but not that well as Interstellar. I mean, obviously, his kids die before he gets back home. So, you know, but he makes it home. But it's definitely a movie that has its very high emotional moments. I think about that scene where he gets knocked out, and I think like this scene is so visually appealing, and I think a really good scene where you, like what you said, where they play with silence, where like the music kind of drops and we can hear a little bit of the ship, a little bit of the alarms, but mostly it's just silence, and there's this blinking red light that we can barely see what's happening. We're just seeing Rocky like burning in this atmosphere, and him dragging Ryan Gosling back to the medical bay, and it's just like everything that is scary about this scene is just amplified by these visuals and amplified by this music and by the silence, you know. So there are elements where they elevate the emotional aspects of the movie using visuals and using music and using silence to really push this, like, you know, like it's you know, I don't want to say like Chekhov's gun quite, but you know, we know that when two people become close, one of them is going to get hurt. You know, one of them is going to, you know, that's what you kind of expect. You know, we all learn it from Of Mice and Men. You know, like one of the characters doesn't always make it, and so, you know, especially in a buddy cop type movie, and this, you know, I think about those scenes, and I think that those were the things that, as someone who really enjoys film and is like, you know, very critical and very analytical about movies, I was like, this is a very elevated moment of the movie. And so like, while the rest of the movie is kind of, you know, silly or childish or very playful, I guess I should say, this was like, these really heavy emotional scenes were really good.
I definitely agree, because now that we've kind of talked about the movie, like I can say that I cried at least twice in this movie. And I know that I'm a movie crier, very admittedly, but it's still impressive if a movie makes me do it. It doesn't matter how easy it is to do it for me. It still matters, you know, because I've seen tear jerker movies that don't do it for me. So it is all about the filmmaking and how you communicate this stuff. I do think, now that we've gotten through the rundown, I do want to say that my biggest issue with the movie is the third act. They finally reveal that Rocky is not dead and that he's actually alive. We get this cool little moment where it's like, holy shit, he's back, and nice, great. But then they split apart, and he goes, oh, there's a leak, and he's not going to know. And then they do this again.
Yeah.
They play it again.
He goes back to Rocky's ship.
And he's like,
he's waiting on, he's knocking on the door.
No response. And so now my mind is going, holy shit, Rocky died a genuinely horrific, lonely death.
Yeah.
And as I'm trying to come to terms with that and getting emotion from that, they do it again. They go, oh no, he's alive. Everything's good. And I'm like, stop fucking doing this.
Yeah.
Like the first time it made me cry, and now you're just annoying me. Now it's like, you're doing this again? We already did this. So they do that again, and it really it sours the movie for me a little bit. Not the whole movie, but like it sours this third act and the ending a little bit, because it's just I would have figured a way to cut this in some kind of way, or at least condense it. And
I think that what I would have done is I would have had Rocky waiting by the glass instead of doing a fake out of, oh, you know, he's probably dead. I would have done it in a way of like, you know, like he was missing him so much. Like I think about like almost like, you know, when me and my wife leave the house, sometimes we check the camera and our dog is just waiting by the door, you know? So it's like kind of a moment like that where you kind of show like how lonely he had been. and like how sad he was to lose him. I think that would have been better because it's still emotional. It's still an emotional like coming back together. And I think the other part of it is I think that you're right. It's like, yeah, I mean, the time that we reveal that Rocky's alive again to the time that they do this again is like 10 minutes. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's right one right after the other. So it's just very like cheap and cheesy at that point. So I agree that doing that a second time, I was like, guys, stop.
Yeah. And I also think it's like,
That's my opinion!
I think it's a weird. I felt weird about the flashback happening at this end of the movie where they show that Gosling was drugged into doing this and did not sign up for it, only because I don't see how much it matters. I think narratively it's him. Narratively, it has to be just to show that Rocky continuously calls him brave.
Yeah.
And then it's a reveal, quote unquote, that he's not brave.
That he never was brave.
Yeah, or whatever.
I think that is the importance of that sequence, is that we can, as an audience, go, well, eventually you chose to go on this mission, so obviously you did something brave. I don't know why you keep calling yourself not brave, why you're saying, oh, I'm not a brave person, when obviously you volunteered for this mission one way or the other, whether it was like, a last-ditch effort or whatever. But then we see, oh, he never made a brave decision. He was literally forced into doing this. So that's why he still can't come to terms. He still won't allow himself to consider himself brave.
Yeah. I just don't know. It felt weird. It completely soured my entire opinion of this.
But I also think that it shows growth as well. It shows, you at one point had to be drugged into doing this mission, but now you are electing to potentially never go home to go save someone else.
I just don't think I need that.
Okay.
I really don't. I'm like, yeah, I mean, whether that's there or not, he really does grow into a like to see. We saw him bumbling around going, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? Where am I at?
Yeah, because he lost his memory.
Yeah, so
that's something I didn't necessarily need as a story element.
Yeah, like it took me.
I didn't agree that he losing his memory mattered.
I don't think so either. It took me a minute actually to realize that the flashbacks were him regaining memory. When they started doing the effect of like the I don't know what that's called, but
like the shimmery,
it's all blurry and it starts to. They even like have the shimmer start exiting the aspect ratio.
Yeah,
above the little black bars, and I was like, okay, he's regaining memory along the way. And then we're showing us flashbacks, which shout out to the movie for not doing title cards with those.
Yeah.
But
not even about where they were.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter.
But anyways, yeah, to me, I felt like that scene was unnecessary. I would have liked the movie better without it. And I would have liked to have. It's just so interesting too, because I'm like, man, fuck those people. Like, I'm sorry, but fuck those people. I think that's
part of why I agree with that too, because I think that's part of the reason why I did enjoy that scene, or I not necessarily enjoyed it, but like I'm okay with it being there, and I think it does add, is it also kind of adds to why he might not want to go home. I mean, he literally would have to go home and be called a hero by these people who forced him to go on this mission. Where it's like, okay, if he goes to Rocky's planet, well, there he actually is a hero. There he actually made a decision to save these people, to save their planet. And he can truly feel like what he is, which is a hero, a brave, courageous hero. If he goes back to Earth, okay, we're going back to where everyone here knows that I was forced to go on this mission. I never wanted to do it.
You got to mention too, I thought you had such a good point when we were walking out of the theater. You were talking about how the American population would react to all of this scientific evidence.
They act like, first of all of the people of the world's governments would just work together on this. No shot, first of all. Second of all, you know how many people would be like, there's no fucking petroleum lines. These things are not real. We're spending all this fucking money on bullshit science. The Earth is not getting any colder. The sun's not dying. I actually read a different article. It said that the sun's getting stronger, actually. So you guys are fucking idiots.
Yep.
Have you ever read a book, Libtard? You think the sun can die because of fake little particles? That's made up.
I know, I'm like, hey, the Earth is dying right now in real life as we speak, and climate change is getting the worst it's ever been. And people are like, bullshit. Yeah, I was like, that's so true. This would not be the way that it's portrayed or insinuated in the movie. And
like we already have Don't Look Up. If you want to watch a movie about how people would actually react to a world-ending
very
thing,
true.
You know?
And I like your what you were talking about too about how because he sends literal videos of him interacting with Rocky on the ship, and Dave was like, dude, the moment they get sent back to Earth, they're gonna be like AI. It's fucking AI. It's
AI.
fake.
Did you guys didn't see the videos of the astronaut with the dude, that shit's AI. That shit's fucking AI.
And
it's a deep fake.
Literally, I'm probably one of the people that would be like, I don't know about, like, you know what I mean? It's like, the government is like, hey, here you go. I'm like, do I really trust this? Yeah. Like, so
also in reality, if that shit gets sent back to the American government, that footage is never fucking seen the light of day.
Also true, yeah.
Because like, no, we need religion to control these people.
Right. But yeah, I just think it's funny, like thinking about the actual reaction of the American people in a situation like this. It's like you kind of hit the nail on the head there, because I was like, that's so true. None of this would work like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the rinse cycle repeat that they do, like, I think it made me worried about how much longer the movie was going to be. I was like, oh my fucking God, I thought we ended it already. I thought we were about to end this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Respectfully, like, it was a good movie. It's not like I was like, please end already. But I was, when you do that, then it does make me go, oh my God, I thought we were really setting up to end here, but how much more fucking movie is there?
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of parts of this, like,
I had to take 2 bathroom breaks during this movie.
Yeah.
That's rare for me.
Like, when I say, like, I don't get the necessity for him to not remember anything, that's another part of it where I'm like, yeah, if you cut out all the parts where he's just trying to learn about himself, it would have cut like 20 minutes from this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, that part is so unnecessary. I'm going to tell you another scene that is, spoiler alert, for my least favorite part of this movie. I thought the most unnecessary scene in the entire movie, and it went on for a long time, and it was a character singing almost the entirety of Sign of the Times by Harry Styles. I was like, I don't need any part of this scene. I don't give a fuck about this character either. Like, this character has had a couple of lines and a little bit of emotion or whatever. It's not like her and Ryan Gosling are falling in love. It's not like she's the love interest of this movie. It's not like she's, going on this mission and she's in space with them. It's not like, there's nothing important about this character after these flashbacks end. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, so why are we doing almost the entirety of the song in a karaoke scene? I was like, this scene is so unnecessary. And if you cut it from the movie, it wouldn't matter at all.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I like the scene though at the same time, but I can't argue that it was necessary. I did like it though. I liked the.
I mean, she's a good singer.
I've just never heard. I'm like, oh yeah, that song is that song applied to a actual global crisis type rather than just like a relationship kind of song. Yeah. He's like, oh wow, that works. You know what I mean? Like, it was. And I guess I kind of saw it as her finally letting her guard down a little bit and being a human being with a lot of the people that are on this mission. But again, if you go ruin that later and show that she's just stabbing people and forcing them into missions they did not sign up for, I'm like, fuck her.
Yeah. It's like, what's the point? You could have just kept her as the evil person.
I understand, too, that it's like, well, what else are you supposed to do? But I'm like, well, here's you go on the fucking trip.
Right.
You do it.
Right.
You fucking do it. You don't. Yeah. So I just, I got such a, like, they
I was
really
like, don't tell
that.
me you're not a scientist. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a very much like, and of course it's all, plot device, whatever. But yeah, it was just one of those things where I was just like, yeah, I mean, when you talk about the length of this movie, and you're like, well, let's do some character development for this character. And I'm like, okay, how does that come into play? And they're like, it doesn't. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then why did we do that?
Right.
Why did we have character development for a character who doesn't matter after the fucking beginning of the third act?
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I really enjoyed the sequences when he's first starting to research these things and then is trying all these different experiments, especially his camaraderie with Lionel Boyce's character.
Yeah.
I liked it. It felt like kind of a mystery detective kind of thing where you get that satisfaction of once they realize that they are as a fourth one, even though they only had 3 organisms, and then they see a fourth one when they do the scan, they're like, holy shit. And then like the cutting to him calling someone and saying, we made a baby. Like, it's also really funny, but it's also,
I think the humorous elements are one of the most underrated part of this movie. I think that this movie is legit funny. There were times where we were laughing out loud. And I don't think that they do it so often that it becomes annoying. They did it just enough to where it was still funny every time. Like, Ryan Gosling is just a funny guy. He's a goofy, his character is goofy.
Yeah.
he's like, Carl, we're fathers.
Yeah.
It's like these quirky little moments that are just like, oh, he's funny. And then you see that with him and Rocky later. It's like, oh, okay, this guy really does like, he thrives in camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? That's why he thrived in a classroom where he's working with all these kids all at the same time. And it's like, for him to be someone who works so well with other people, but then also be a guy who is alone. It's like just such it's a very dynamic thing. But he's funny. Like, he actually is funny.
Definitely, yeah. I love the amount of comedic moments in this movie. I think, too, when you're talking about how everything is in between these sci-fi epic, but also like kind of playful and a little bit more geared towards children almost, it's like, well, this Rocky character is a big part of it. It's like
100%.
There are some people who are going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy for Baby Groot. And that's it. Or even this Grogu movie that's coming out. They're just going to want to see Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Like, you have that really marketable, cute.
Yeah. This is a merchandise play.
Yes, dude.
Like, you're going to want little plushy Rocky. And
it fucking
there's going to be a Lego Rocky for sure.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah.
The whole time I was like, I fucking love Rocky. Like, I just loved him. And
I told my friend Timothy too. I said, yeah, Rocky reminded me of you so much. And it's like, because I'm just watching a movie where this guy's talking to his best friend. And I was like, it reminded me of hanging out with my best friend. Like, and especially like the ways that they like made fun of each other and stuff was just like, oh, this is like, just feels so like organic camaraderie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really loved it. Like, especially the times where they're just like teasing each other. It just made me, it makes your heart happy, to watch a relationship develop like that.
It's so feel good vibes. 100%.
Yeah, feel good. That's a great word.
And yeah, that's what makes the stakes so heavy when it starts to get worrisome. Even for both characters, when you see Ryan Gosling passed out with his head pressed into the control panel.
And he's bleeding. Yeah, there's like blood running down.
Yeah, you just saw one of the fuel tank injector things having to get dismissed.
And we're all thinking about his fucking fuel.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know if he's going to make it home yet.
It's like, holy shit. Like, this really feels... You've really spent so much time with these characters that you've grown to love them and want them to succeed somehow, even with these statistical data points that say no. At least Gosling is not supposed to go home.
Yeah,
he's not supposed to make it. All this stuff. So really interesting in that way. I think they do good at making sure that the characters are felt enough for the stakes to matter. Really liked that. Yeah, that's why. Like I said, I cried twice in this movie. And they earned it. It was a very earned cry from me. So they did great with that. I love the camaraderie of these guys. I love the scenes of them in between the ship's tunnels that Rocky creates and then communicating both early on and later on when they're saying bye even. Like, I loved those scenes in those in that area. It was weird that they had a legitimate horror jump scare.
Yeah, twice, by the way.
That was it was the loudest goddamn boom. Yeah. I was like, really? All right. Like,
when they first meet each other, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm fine with it because, it's just like aliens are a horror thing, like there's a lot of horror movies about aliens. So, yeah, I got that. But then, like, after that, they did it a second time, and I was like, really?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting.
Like, guys, chill the fuck out, man.
I really, really loved the... one of the things I'm going to remember the most from this movie is the two sequences visually that just really, really stuck out were when they activate the Petrova line view outside of the ship and it turns into all these little star.
Yeah, this was like Oppenheimer.
Yeah, dude. I was like, what? And then again, the score just swells and it matches beautifully with this moment. It was a very like, holy shit, Semina moment. And then also when they see the star that is not dying or whatever, I forget, they end up naming it Adrian. When they see the planet. Yeah, thank you. When they see the planet that they end up naming Adrian, it's this really cool, awesome visual of a lot of green and amber, and it was so beautiful.
Yeah, imagine
visually.
if like an entire planet were the Northern Lights. Like that's what I was thinking. I was like,
you know what also
if the entire planet was the Northern Lights, it would be like this.
It also reminded me of the little candies that are like half green apple, half caramel.
Okay.
And there's like a swirl in the middle. It reminded me of that. There's a lot of stuff in this movie actually that reminded me of just food. I was just hungry. But no, like it was a really beautiful scene, and it was also really good comedy too, because he's like, holy shit, Rocky, you got to see this. And then Rocky's like, oh, I am seeing it. I'm looking at the monitor. Yeah, but it's boring. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, it just looks like a fucking planet.
Right, because Rocky can't see color.
Yeah, so Rocky can only see different
Rocky's like,
shapes.
whoa, I don't see color, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it was so, those moments were, and now obviously, the action of them trying to collect the
bacteria
that eats the, I forget what they call this. The fuel.
Yeah.
It ends with
astrophage.
Astrophage. Thank you.
Yeah.
The astrophage. That was a really cool sequence too. And, but yeah, just visually them seeing this space planet area and then activating that Petrova line sequence was very, very visually stunning. I thought it was incredible.
Yeah. I think that, they do a lot. They do a lot in this movie that we really enjoyed. Like you said, we definitely recommend this one.
Shout out to Ryan Gosling's costumes in this too. All of his wardrobe.
Yeah.
He does the like teacher thing with like a pair of jeans and a blazer kind of look. And then he's also wearing this really kind of indie blog writer fit later in the movie with the yellow raincoat and the beanie. Yeah. But then also when he's on the ship, it's very retro, kind of 70s and 80s with all the little color blocking. He gets to wear a lot of different outfits in this movie, and he
looked hot in every single one of them.
Of course he does.
If there was a movie coming out that was going to make me less attracted to Ryan Gosling, this one wasn't it.
This was not the one.
Not even caveman Ryan Gosling at the beginning.
Yeah, man.
He's just hot in everything he does.
Hot as fuck.
I'm sorry if you feel differently. You're wrong.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this movie, I talked about it a little bit earlier. I think for me, it is that dramatic sequence when Ryan Gosling is passed out and Rocky leaves his. It's just this like the climax of the movie. It's the most pivotal moment in which things have to go well, and we know that the stakes are extremely high in this moment, and for it to not go perfectly is so scary and like very it's like it's the part where you start to feel like one of these two characters is going to die. And so it's just a very heavy emotional moment. And I think that they edited it very well. It was lit very well. It was very creative, very creative visually. And the sound design between the music at the beginning of the scene and then the silence at the end of it were just so perfectly constructed. And I think it was like, when I talk about like some of this movie is feel good and playful, and then some of this movie is really elevated filmmaking, that's the scene that I think of as like, this is a critically acclaimed scene, for us. So, yeah, that was my favorite part of the movie. My least favorite part of the movie was the karaoke scene. She sings very well, and I like that song. But, again, it was just one of these things where I was like, is what you're doing right now matter in this 2 hour and 30-minute movie in terms of, like, what could be cut? The length in general is definitely my, overall least favorite part. But I think that is, like, when we talk about, what are the symptoms of a movie that gets too long, this is a perfect example. So,
yeah.
My
favorite part of the movie is probably the Petrova line activation scene. But the most connected and like, oh my gosh, my heart scene in the movie was when, I don't remember the exact line, but it was Rocky formulating his plan to give Gosling the fuel that he needs to get back to Earth, and him saying, he said something along the lines of like, Rocky not able to save Ship, Rocky able to save Grace, Rocky saved Grace. And it was so emotional. I got so emotional during that scene of him saying that and like feeling Rocky's motivation and hearing his lament for his inability to save his crewmates. And then cutting to Gosling's incredible like facial performance, which he's so good at the eye acting shit.
Yeah.
He's always been good at that. And just seeing him overwhelmed with that realization of that, oh my God, I might actually be able to live. It was so fucking emotional. It was really, really good. My least favorite part of the movie was definitely the rinse cycle repeat that they did with Rocky's. Oh, he's going to die. No, he's alive. Oh, he's going to die. No, he's going to be. I thought it really soured the experience for me. But Yeah.
Especially because that second one is even more of a, like, fuck you guys, because it also means that Gracie's going to die. Like, his last name is Grace. So he doesn't know that that's his last name throughout the majority of the movie. But, yeah, it's like, well, he went to Rocky instead of Earth. And if Rocky's dead, then he is also going to die in space.
Right.
So, I'm like, why would you guys do that? Anyways.
Yeah. But I did like the ending, by the way.
Yeah, I liked it too.
That was a cool
I thought it was a
so
very...
I'm curious to see how the book ends.
It was feel good, and I think that it was appropriate for these characters, you know? And I don't think that we want to see them separated. Of course, we both want them to be able to live on their planet. But in my mind, I'm like, well, Rocky's the one who went on and on about his girlfriend, so... Like, and he had a line that I fucking loved, bro, because he asked me, he said, how long have you guys been together? And he says, like, 136 years. And he says, that's a really long time. And Rocky says, it's not enough.
Yeah, that was a really emotional line.
I loved that line. I was like, oh my God, dude, Rocky's going to make me cry.
I know, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
He does that too at the end when he says something along the lines of like, please, like, take forever to make your decision of whether or not you're going to go back to Earth.
Yeah, he says, take all the time you want. Take forever. Take as many days as you...
Yeah, please go slow. Please delay it. And like, it's just so sweet. It's just like, God damn, like, this is true friendship and camaraderie.
It kind of reminds, like I
even
said...
to the bitter end, it's like, God.
It's part of what reminds me of my friend Timothy so much, because I say that too. Sometimes I'm like, Timothy, I'm about to just book a flight and stay at your house for a fucking week. He's like, please do that. Do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like... Yeah, like it just having somebody in your life that like genuinely wants to spend time with you and enjoys your company is like a really awesome friendship to have, and I have one of those. And that's why it reminded me of that so much.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, good movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. I think it's it's not the best movie of the year so far. By the way, for anybody wondering, I know a lot of people have been saying that that's the best movie of the year. I think for the general public, that will be the consensus. A movie we did not do for the podcast, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Daniel won't shut up about it. I'm at a point where I'm not going to shut up about it anymore either, because I agree with Daniel. That was the best movie of the year. It's a 9 out of 10 movie. We haven't had a 9 out of 10 on the podcast in a long time. So go see that movie. But this one's really good.
I believe it just dropped on digital, if I'm not mistaken. So it should be able to be watched now on different digital streaming platforms, and you can buy it and watch it. Yeah, Nirvana, the band, the show is still my favorite movie of the year so far. Oh, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie is still my favorite movie of the year so far. But yeah, this was really good. I mean, this is probably the second best movie of the year I've seen so far. So this is, I'm also going to give this a 7 out of 10. It does feel perfect right there. It is definitely leans more towards an 8 than 6 for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for those of you who have been with us for a long time, I want you guys to know about something off pod, because I think that you guys will be able to enjoy this as a community. Okay. And we're not going to go into long detail or depth about it, but it's just something that I think that you guys will enjoy, that you guys can participate with off the pod, online. Come to our comments, come to our stream, and we can discuss it more. There's a movie on HBO that was nominated for Best Picture or maybe not nominated for Best Picture, nominated for a couple of Oscars, called If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. That movie is on HBO. I gave that movie a 7 out of 10, and Daniel gave it a 2 out of 10. So we haven't talked about a movie in which he and I disagree on the movie in a really long time.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So I just say that because we're back to another, I gave it a 7, you gave it a 7. Mm-hmm. And that happens a lot. We have a shared list of movies that we're catching up on. And sometimes our scores are different, where we'll see 6 out of 10 from Dan and 7 out of 10 from Dave, or vice versa. And some of them literally just have one score because we both agreed. So we shortened the note to just say one score.
Yeah.
And this is one that has 2 completely different scores. So I would love for you guys to go see that movie, to watch that movie. Let us know what you guys think, and we can discuss it more.
They're going to watch it and be like, 5 out of 10. God damn it.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there. It seems like when you listen to the pod, we always agree. That's not true. We have lots of different opinions. And another opinion that we've had that we would love for you guys to come and talk to us about. In fact, this is one that what I would love is for people to send in their like an audio note, send in like an audio recording or a video note or something. We'll play it on the pod of a disagreement that me and Daniel have. Daniel appreciates and enjoys when a show that's on streaming only has one episode every week. And I think that I prefer all the episodes to be out at once and be able to binge it. And we have, two very different opinions on that. But I would love to know what you guys think. Do you guys like the one episode every week? You get the opportunity to talk about it online and have theories and have something that you're looking forward to and waiting and things like that. Or are you someone who's like, I want to watch it all at once so that I can consume as many shows as possible and, be able to, enjoy a show in its entirety and not have to wait. So, where are you guys landing on that? We would love to hear that. But yeah, we don't always agree. I just want that on the record. When you listen to the pod lately, it seems like that's the case. But especially on this one, I think that we have very similar opinions on this movie.
It's also very interesting. It is interesting that, again, for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, regardless of our opinions of the movie, we did not watch it together.
That's also true.
I'm so curious about that aspect of it. It's like all these movies we see for the pod, we see them together. We have 2 seats in the theater. We see them together. And then all of our catch-ups we've been watching separately. But you're right. But again, you're like, we haven't had many discrepancies at all. And if it is, it's like one single point. But then all of a sudden I give something a 2 and you give it a 7. And we're like, dude, we got to tell the podcast listeners about it.
They need to know that this happens.
We're not always. Exact same score. Yeah. So it is interesting. You'll have to tell us.
Yeah, and there's some movies that we're still waiting on the other person because I think Daniel might like Train Dreams more than me. I fucking couldn't stand that movie. So
still gotta check that one out.
All right, so I'm going to our Instagram DMs here to look at some part 2s that we've had sent to us. Oh, would you look at that? It's empty.
Interesting. So no one has hit us up to give us any kind of part 2 ideas or games to play?
Nope.
Even despite the fact that we always recommend them to do so at the end of every episode?
Yep.
Interesting. Wow.
Well, no part 2 for this episode because we don't have any.
No
you
part
guys
2.
Fucking hate us. You guys hate part 2s apparently.
No part 2.
No after party for you guys.
No after party. We're done.
If you guys want to get involved in the conversation,
and you should.
we highly recommend it.
Part 2 depends on it.
And you want to let us know what you thought of this movie. If you went to go see it, let us know what you thought of this episode. We can be reached at Wild Dream Pod on Instagram or TikTok. And if you want to come and enjoy some more conversations with us, we have an open AMA at all times on the streaming platform. We are at Wild Dream Stream on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. But until next time, we love you. We actually do love you guys.
We do.
Even though we're hard on you, but we're hard on you because we love you.
We're not mad. We're disappointed.
Just disappointed. And we still kiss you. Good night.
Good night.